Welcome to another episode of Insider Chatter. It is July 14th, 2025. I am your host, Mike, the Novice Cinephile. Joining me is Nate. He knows movies. We're here to break down all of the biggest stories of the week in movie news, TV too, if it allows. But there's a lot. It's mainly a DC episode.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys are ready for that. Nate, we've been talking Superman on a weekly basis.
Mm-hmm.
We both saw it this past week. I assume that's what we've been watching, so we could just dive into that. How you been, man?
I've been good. Very, very Superman passionate. Very Superman passionate. I saw it on Thursday. I did not see the Tuesday screening, so got to see it at the Indiana State Museum, which has the IMAX, which is I think one of the 10 biggest in the country. Pretty cool to see it in that format and with an audience who was super, super into it. Except one guy in a fedora who was like, Snyder did it better. I was like, oh, loser.
Snyder, I mean, it's interesting because this is doing something so different than what Zack Snyder was going for that they almost don't even feel like they're comparable.
No.
I don't even know if we want to put them in the same conversation at this point. If you guys are watching this when it comes out on Monday, we're gonna have a Chatter After episode. It's a collaboration with Superman on Film, so you guys subscribe, check that out. It's probably gonna go up on Tuesday morning or so for you. But yeah, I had a ton of fun with this movie. And it seems like a lot of people did as we get into this first story.
Yeah, I'll say I did love it, by the way. I kept on trying to be subtle, but yeah, I loved it. And I'm very relieved I loved it. Because last week when we talked, I was beginning to be super, super nervous because the concern trolling got to me.
Yeah, this movie does a lot of things right. It has a couple of missteps for me.
Oh, yeah.
I think a couple of plot beats, the main plot beat with Superman doesn't get enough development. Well, it's a spoiler, so I'm not going to touch on it too much, but it's the thing that starts the story is it happens and then we kind of brush it away and then we acknowledge it at the end of the movie. And it's okay, that could be a little bit better. Everything else, Corn Sweat, great. Hulk, great. Brosnahan, great. I love the world we set up with this DC universe. And it seems like everyone else does too, because James Gunn's Superman is the biggest DC opening since The Batman by Matt Reeves that came out in 2022? So 3 years ago?
Of 2022.
That is crazy. The DC stonks are going up, baby. We've got the official box office. I had fun making this one, I know. The official box office coming in. The numbers are from Deadline this time. They're saying after several years of anticipation, James Gunn's Superman finally opened this past weekend to positive reviews from critics and great word of mouth from the audience. It came in at about $124 to $125 million opening. That's the domestic number. That's above Man of Steel. So this is officially the biggest Superman opening of all time. Not counting Batman versus Superman, obviously. Superman solo movie. I think if you do adjust for inflation, Superman the movie probably is a little bit bigger, but come on. As far as modern Superman movies, this is the big one. And it's Gunn's second biggest opening, only getting beat out by Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, which made $146.5 million. This isn't DC's biggest opening, though, because Matt Reeves' The Batman opened up about $10 million higher, but you kind of expect that for Batman.
Yeah.
Especially Batman's image, I don't think, was in the gutter as much as Superman's was, because he had the Dark Knight trilogy fairly recently, and say what you will about the DCEU, I think most people did like Ben Affleck's Batman. So it's not like people soured on the character, whereas Superman was kind of in a rough spot. I believe they said that Superman's budget is about $225 million, and Warner Brothers is looking for it to make $500 million, and they would consider that a success. So it's a good start. Worldwide, we're at what, 217, 218, I think?
217.
Yeah. So good start for Superman. Jurassic also took a massive dip this past week. That's not in the episode today, but we were talking about these three big tent poles: Jurassic World Rebirth, Superman, Fantastic Four First Steps. Jurassic made all its money on the front end and then fell off a cliff. Superman made a decent chunk. It still has a long way to go before it's a success, but it's a good start for the new universe.
I think it helps a lot that for Superman, it doesn't have Fantastic Four isn't the following weekend. It has a gap. I mean, let's be honest, kids are not. I don't think Smurfs is going to be huge. I have heard horrible things about I Know What You Did Last Summer. I mean, I thought the trailers for that movie looked miserable, and I don't even think people like the original movies of those that much. And Eddington from Ari Aster, that's not going to be a hit at all. I'm excited for it, but it's like mainstream audiences don't want that movie. So I think it'll have legs versus Jurassic. Obviously, I think at the beginning of the summer, I think all of us were thinking it's like, okay, Jurassic is going to make more than both Superman and Fantastic Four. Yeah. Now I'm like, I think it's really between Superman and Fantastic Four. And I mean, I will say about the Batman has always been a more like popular character. Like I think there's a lot of people, I guess myself included, who prefer Batman over Superman. So I get why Batman would open higher.
Yeah.
It also was opening in March when it wasn't as crowded. Granted, it was during kind of COVID, kind of not, because theaters were slowly opening back up. Spider-Man No Way Home broke bank just a few months before, so it wasn't really... Theaters were gradually coming back. But I think it is an apt comparison. There was so much debate on what this would do. We saw like some projections like 170. I think I even saw some projections as low as like 85. Thank God I didn't make that.
Right.
But I think one of the things that I said earlier to you, I'm like, this is kind of on topic, kind of not. I think this also means like if this movie continues to perform similar to the Batman, I think they gotta bring in Pattinson because introducing a new Batman, I don't think audiences will be like accepting of that. I think most people probably presume these are set in that same world. That's just me.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I think it's funny because I've always been team just put them together. It's the simplest route. But after watching this movie and watching characters like Mr. Terrific operate, I'm like, we're gonna have to like power up Pattinson's Batman.
Yeah.
Like get him more tech and everything, just so he can like compete at the same level. Because Mr. Terrific is a person who doesn't have any powers like Batman, and you see the way he moves in this movie.
Yeah.
And so I can see a version of why Gunn would also say, "Hey, I want a Batman that's built to exist alongside the Justice League in this version." I do think you can evolve Pattinson into that, of course, because we only meet him in year 3, and if DCU Batman is supposed to be older, you can theoretically say he grows into that role. But I think it just comes down to Matt Reeves, because I think Gunn wants it to happen. Because if you saw, he did an interview earlier this week, and he was talking about his favorite filmmakers, and he mentioned Matt Reeves. He's like, he's the only person, he's one of the few people in Hollywood who can make blockbusters that have the meaning and have purpose. And he named Reeves, Greta, and Ryan Coogler. And it's like, he's right, but also there's no way you don't want this man making your DCU Batman if that's how strongly you feel about him. I do want to see the Batman in this universe. I think that's the biggest thing about Superman is that you want to see it grow. I enjoyed the movie, but I also love the world that they built.
Yes.
And seeing the Green Lanterns and seeing Hawkgirl and Mr. Terrific and just seeing Metropolis on the day-to-day. Like, Superman is saving people, but they're also taking pictures of the monsters because it's such a regular occurrence. And that's just something that Marvel hasn't tapped into. Like, they always felt like fodder a little bit, the civilians. Like, there's a moment where there's one civilian that's a big scene in this movie, and I've never cared for the people of Metropolis more than I did in this one moment. Yeah. And it's like, this is why Superman does what he does.
This is a Superman that saves squirrels.
It is.
That's not a spoiler. I loved how compared to Man of Steel, like where literally just Superman and Zod create 9/11, but with superheroes.
Yeah.
I mean, that is how it's treated in that in BVS. That's not even me joking.
No.
But this movie really shows like Superman cares about the people around him. So I like that. And I think audiences will appreciate that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think this movie performed as it was expected to. It didn't underperform. It didn't overperform. It did what it needed to do. And I think that's what they need. I saw somebody commenting on, I think it was Blue Sky. Somebody was like, because there's been a lot of comparisons to the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies. And
Yeah.
someone's like, if this movie goes the path of the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man, imagine what the sequel will be like. You know,
It's
bigger
funny
and
you
probably better.
mentioned that.
I know.
James Gunn talked about the sequel earlier today.
He
Somebody
did.
asked him about Superman 2, and he's like, define Superman 2. And during this last week of the press run, Gunn has been on record saying, you're going to see Superman again, but it's not going to be a Superman sequel in the way that you're thinking. We just got
Mm.
done talking about Batman. It's got to be a world's finest movie, right?
Yeah, I
Do
would
we?
assume. I don't know though. That feels like cursed. Like you don't want to do what the DCEU just did. Start with a Superman movie and then go Batman and Superman meeting up. I don't think they'll fight in this one. I hope not. And then decide, hey, both of our moms are named Martha all over again. I
Why did
don't
you
know.
say that name? No, but that I was about to ask you. It's like, do we really want to go from, because we didn't talk about the cinema score. The Superman cinema score is an A minus, which isn't bad, but that's also the same cinema score as Man of Steel, and
Yep.
it's making similar money to Man of Steel. Do we really want to walk down that same path of doing Batman, Superman, Dawn of whatever James Gunn wants to call it? It just, that's a little scary to me. I don't know. I'm
I
getting bad
mean,
vibes.
I will say, at least it's not the second movie in because we got Supergirl coming in between it. We got Clayface. I would assume we're going to get probably something else in between it as well. I wouldn't know what it would be.
Yeah.
I don't know what movie's far enough along in the script stage, unless we consider the Batman Part 2. Who knows? But we have all the shows coming too. We have Lanterns coming first, which becoming more and more excited for that. Obviously, Peacemaker 2 next month. So,
That is next month. Holy cow,
yep.
man. We have a couple quotes here from David Zaslav, head of Warner Brothers Studios, and of course James Gunn himself, just celebrating, taking their little victory lap because we got a DC universe, baby, that's going to be full force. Zaslav's comments. He goes on talking about how he hired James Gunn and Peter Safran 3 years ago, and he trusted their leadership, and he's inspired and excited for the future of the DC universe. The interesting part, he gave like a 3 paragraph message. We're gonna just focus on the last one because again, I ain't reading all that, bro. But he says, quote, this weekend we watched Superman soar as James Gunn's passion and vision came to life on the big screen. Superman is just the first step. Over the next year alone, DC Studios will introduce the films Supergirl and Clayface in theaters in the series Lanterns on HBO Max, newly branded HBO Max. Uh, all part of a bold 10-year plan. The DC vision is clear, the momentum is real, and I couldn't be more excited for what's ahead. End quote.
Hell yeah.
We were concerned like a couple weeks back, a couple episodes back, of like, hey, if this doesn't work, all of this falls apart. We got confirmation that the 10-year plan is a go, so that's exciting.
Yeah. I'm very thankful that it is because we know Zaslav has a tendency, I don't know if it's an addiction or not, to axe things. He already axed a superhero movie with the word girl in the title. And you know what the next movie in this franchise is? Supergirl.
Yeah. Poor Batgirl. We'll miss you.
But I mean, this is kind of a relief to hear because he wouldn't have said this if like they probably have an estimation on what this movie will do next weekend as well. Studios have that intel that we don't and some of the trades don't. So this
Yeah.
means they have confidence with this opening because otherwise he wouldn't be saying that. He wouldn't.
No.
He's a businessman. He only cares about the numbers. He doesn't care about art. It's why we don't like him. But at the same time, this kind of feels like a sigh of relief.
It's a sigh of relief, but one thing that I think we all kind of forgot to take into account is Warner Brothers and now DC Studios. They're not stupid,
No.
Like, I think they knew that this movie wasn't going to be $1 billion hit, but
No.
Superman was really about rehabilitating DC's image more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
And with movies like the Batman and Superman now, when people say I like DC movies, you don't get that those movies suck. you know you can see that the people who watch these enjoyed them. The word of mouth is good. That leads into your point though of you don't want to keep those things separate now. You kind of want to build that momentum.
Yeah.
But if they choose not to do that, I think just having people excited for the DC universe is good, because again, Superman's a character that, as popular as he is not the most loved character in 2025. So like there's going to be a segment of the audience that are like, "Oh, I'm glad DC makes good movies. I want Wonder Woman though, or I want Batman though." And now we have a chance to actually do that properly instead of what happened with the Zack Snyder movies. A lot of that was not his fault. I'm not even blaming him for that. But it's like, hey, putting all the Justice League in videotapes in BBS and
That
then
was a
getting into
great
yeah,
idea.
and I don't even blame him for that though, because if they wanted to jump into a Justice League movie right away, and so he couldn't properly set that up. So that's why it's like now we're doing it right. We're taking our time. We're introducing characters here and there. Stonks are on the rise for for DC.
I think one other thing I wanted to say is,
Yeah.
the next movie in this franchise is Supergirl. And I
Mhm.
don't want the concern trolls coming back, because I will say now, the Supergirl is not going to make this kind of money opening weekend. I'm excited. I was telling you before we were recording, I'm reading Woman of Tomorrow right now. Got it on Hoopla. Support your local libraries.
Do it.
But great book. It's not going to open to over 100 million like this movie does, and that's fine. That's perfectly fine. Clayface isn't either, but Clayface, we know, is going to have like a 40 or 50 million dollar budget, and it's more like a horror movie. Horror movies sell well. People are
It's
going
an
to be interested.
R-rated body horror movie. It's not going to make a ton of money, but for its
No.
audience, hopefully it's really good,
Yeah, like I really like the strategy that they are going with, and the fact that they're focusing. James Gunn has made it clear, we're not making the movie unless the script is good and finished. Unlike Doomsday, which they're like they're several weeks, maybe a month or two into shooting, and they still haven't written the third act.
Yeah, we haven't touched on Doomsday rumors, but I'm very concerned for what's happening over at the Mouse House in this next Avengers movie. I think this just benefits DC in the sense that you're right, having scripts ready. Who knew having the script ready before filming would be such a huge deal? But just the fundamental understanding of these characters too. Like,
Yeah.
one thing I appreciate is that we didn't change Superman. He's unabashedly Superman, and the story is about kindness and hope and being the best person you can be and helping those people around you. And we didn't shy away from that. We embraced the hokey aspects of the character, and I think for fans that's a really good thing. But also, it does differentiate DC from Marvel now, because this movie at least, was very uplifting. And you mentioned Raimi's Spider-Man. I don't know if Marvel's given one like this before,
No.
Especially Spider-Man might be the last one, which was not a Marvel Studios production. James Gunn took to Threads, as he do, and he said, quote, "I'm incredibly grateful for your enthusiasm and kind words over the past few days. We've had a lot of super in Superman over the years, and I'm happy that we've made a movie that focuses on the man part of the equation. A kind person, always looking out for those in need. That resonates so powerful with so many people across the world, and it is itself a hopeful testament to the kindness and quality of human beings. Thank you. That was just a nice sentiment. James
Yep.
Gunn is always less corporate than Zaslav because his was just like, we're making all the money, 10-year plan, baby. And Gunn is just like, thank you guys for being wholesome. Heart emoji. Good news. If you like Superman, there's already 2 spin-offs in
Yes.
development. Nate, talk to us.
Okay, so there is a Wall Street Journal piece that came out, I think on Friday, and there was a lot in it. And one of the most interesting things was you saw Superman and were like me and Mike, and you're like, damn, I loved Mr. Terrific, played by Edie Gathegi. You're in luck because they're working on a spin-off for him and also Skylar Gazando's Jimmy Olsen. Which, if you're gonna say, wait, Jimmy Olsen doesn't have superpowers. Well, Jimmy Olsen has led several of his own comic books. It's possible, especially with somebody like James Gunn. It would probably be like a workplace like comedy absurdist series. It's not that serious, and that's what I like. For Mr. Terrific, I am thinking more, and Mike knows more about this team than me, but Mr. Terrific and Metamorpho lead a team in the DC Comics known as the Terrifics. So
Yeah.
that might be what they're going with. But I want your thoughts on this because you've probably read some of these comics. I haven't.
So this is insane. First off, a Jimmy Olsen spinoff. Like Mr. Terrific, yeah, he's like the best superhero not named Superman in this movie. That
Oh
makes
yeah.
all the sense in the world. The Terrifics, it's kind of DC's riff on Marvel's Fantastic Four. I mean, it's a team called the Terrifics, led by Mr. Terrific. There's Plastic Man, there's Metamorpho, and there's Phantom Girl. And yeah, that team can be really interesting and fun. And I think Mr. Terrific is primed to lead his own team. It also didn't seem like he was that like into being a part of the Justice Gang in this movie. So like him leaving, him and Metamorpho like getting into another adventure, that's totally fine. That'll be the usual superhero movie or show. I'm cool with that. Jimmy Olsen is ridiculous because you can do Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, where he's getting into crazy adventures and he's turning into kaiju. There's one where Jimmy Olsen discovers what it's like to be a woman and he gets turned into a woman for an issue, and it's ridiculous. And it's the craziest, zaniest thing. It's the most James Gunn type of comic book because it's the most wacky thing you'll ever get. And I don't think that's where we're going. I think we might just do, and I mentioned this to our friend Leo. I was on his stream this past week. I think we might just do like The Office
Yeah.
because all of the actors in the Daily Planet have TV experience,
Yeah.
Like they're not the biggest of movie stars. So I can see James Gunn saying, hey, we're going to do 13 episodes called The Daily Planet, led by Jimmy Olsen. You get cameos from Rachel Brosnahan, a couple episodes. Clark is never around until like the finale.
Yeah.
And you can do that. Jimmy is a photographer, so you can also take him out of the planet for chunks of episodes. And I just think that's fun. Did you see there was a TikTok that had the same energy? It was one of the social media posts.
We have
Jimmy.
yeah.
Did you print that bank statement?
I'm gonna get to it. As like head reporter, she's technically on paper above me. I like to think we're equals. She'll sometimes take a tone with me that sounds like she's telling me what to do.
What are you doing?
She it's friendly when she does this. She doesn't mean her tone.
Jimmy, shut up.
Got it. Her tone's more severe than how she means.
But that's the type of energy that they can capture for like a comedy series on Max. I think that'd be cool.
Yeah, just make it like a workplace comedy. You don't have to make it. They shouldn't make it like super vital or important. But I keep thinking, and this show wasn't very good. This could be the better version of it. Remember when they did the DC Comics workplace comedy with Vanessa Hudgens?
Yeah, Powerless, I think was the name.
Yeah, those guys went on to make Harley Quinn, which I know is a much better show than that.
Right.
But I mean, this would kind of be the way in to make this more, interesting. Like, it is connected. You don't have to watch it, but it's a fun, side piece. And it's
Yes.
something I wish Marvel would have done with their TV shows instead of making everything like movie level. Like,
Yeah.
She-Hulk could have been that. They didn't go that route.
Yeah. It's frustrating, especially as a She-Hulk fan. It's like,
Yeah.
just get like the writers from like a Parks and Rec or a Brooklyn Nine-Nine and just like embrace kind of the wacky nature of her of her law firm, because you had the characters there, but it's like, nope, we still have to do the Marvel thing and we have to go fight Abomination or whatever at the end, or whatever they ended up doing in She-Hulk. She fought like Kevin Feige
Hulking.
in a robot.
The guy from Baywatch.
Yeah.
Um,
No, but
oh,
like you saying that this is what you wanted from Marvel, I think that's why I appreciate this approach that
mm,
Saffron and Gunn are taking. Nothing is vital, weirdly enough.
nope.
Like they said, hey, watch what you want. You don't need to watch the Jimmy Olsen show to understand what's happening in the Batman movie. You don't need to watch the Superman movie to understand what's happening in Supergirl or Lanterns. And I appreciate that, because there's going to be somebody, if they do what we're saying, who's going to watch this dang Jimmy Olsen show because they like comedies and not even realize it's connected to superheroes until like halfway through.
Yeah.
And that idea is just, it's so funny because it now you're reaching a different audience, and it goes to like Clayface. I'm not a big horror guy, but there's gonna be a horror fan who's not a superhero guy who's gonna love Clayface,
Yep.
and that to me is just a better business model for a studio. Like
Mm,
Marvel is ran like a franchise where each installment leads into the next, and they all feel kind of similar in tone. DC is being ran as a movie studio, so they're doing dramas and comedies and animated series and all this other stuff. Marvel's starting to branch out a little bit more now with like Daredevil and this Eyes of Wakanda series that they're doing. But yeah, like I'm just really interested to see what they do with Jimmy. What's your thoughts on Mr. Terrific though? Because that's the more straightforward one, but I think that has
yeah.
got a chance to be really sick.
Oh, I'm excited for that. Like I said, he was a major standout for me. I mean, his whole scene, probably my favorite scene in the whole movie wasn't one with Superman himself in it. Like, my favorite action scene, I just loved the energy that Mr. Terrific had. I wasn't super familiar with Edie Gathegi. I just knew him as a guy who dies first in X-Men First Class.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Darwin. I'm glad he finally got his chance to really show, because it's like, this dude seems like ripe for a spinoff, whether it be a TV show or a movie. I would assume it's going to be a TV show. And I think Metamorpho would make sense for it, unless they want to change it up a little more. I won't spoil it too much, because they do hint at one thing at the ending, but it's not with Mr. Terrific. But yeah, I would be pumped for this. I really want to see it, and I feel like, depending on who they get as a writer, it could be like something like a Peacemaker. Like, I think this would be like a more TV MA kind of show. I mean, his catchphrase in this movie is, "I am goddamn Mr. Terrific." Like, I don't think we heard Superman say any curse word once except super shit, but he was quoting something.
No, Superman doesn't curse, and I love that about him. He
Yeah.
says, "What the hey, dude," when he's scolding Crypto, and he
Yeah.
just said, "Golly." He called somebody chum at one point, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, he's straight up from Golden Age," and I love that about Clark so
Yeah.
much. There's a moment where he needs to be consoled by Lois, and she brings him a warm cup of cocoa,
Yeah.
and he's just like, "That's good cocoa," and it's like, "Ah, buddy, it's." That's adorable. No, but yeah, Mr. Terrific, they can give him a slightly more edge. Um, it being a TV show would be interesting. Like the budget would be insane if it's the Terrifics. If it's just Mr. Terrific, you can do it. But like Plastic Man and Metamorpho on TV is gonna be hard to pull off.
Makeup for Metamorpho, he was practical.
Yeah,
Like,
but you saw how he actually uses his powers in this
yeah,
movie.
that's
That
true.
like if you want him to just be standing there for most of the show, sure, but like if he's actively doing something, that's going to be expensive as heck.
Yeah. And I mean, if we are introducing Plastic Man, you have to get the man who has been lobbying for this role for since the DCEU, Ben Schwartz, Sonic the
John
Hedgehog
Ralphio.
himself, Jean Ralphio. He needs to play him.
He has to. I mean, he'd be great. He'd actually be great. I do feel like we're going to see the team, the Terrifics, because we have half of them here. Plastic Man feels like a James Gunn type of character that he'd want to introduce at some point. It'd just be really funny having the Terrifics come out a couple years after the Fantastic Four. That's just really funny. Yeah, there's also like in My Adventures with Superman, Jimmy, if you guys seen this movie, Jimmy is a ladies' man. But we also have hinted at him in Supergirl many a times. It'd be interesting if you had Millie Alcock appear in the Jimmy Olsen show from time to time. Again, she's been in HBO shows before, so wouldn't be a shocker. But I wasn't expecting an announcement the day of release. I think that this was in the works. That just shows the confidence that they have in Superman in this universe, and that part is exciting. In contrast, the last Superman project, and this is our final Superman related story of the day, I think. David Zaslav, if you guys were feeling the high and the hope and the excitement, remember that David Zaslav thought that Superman was going to be too woke if they made him black. So we just had to highlight that. This is a story coming from Wall Street Journal. If you guys remember, before James Gunn's Superman was announced, while Gunn was working on the Suicide Squad, to be clear, not Suicide Squad by David Ayer. It was reported in February of 2021 that J.J. Abrams would be producing a black Superman movie set in the Civil Rights era. And who was the writer on this, Nate? It was a Marvel writer, I believe.
Yeah, Ta-Nehisi Coates. I don't know how to pronounce his name. He wrote a run on Black Panther that I heard was like excellent. Then he wrote a run on Captain America that I heard.
We haven't heard anything about this project. Again, this preceded James Gunn talking, him and Peter Safran taking over the DC studios, or founding DC studios when you really think about it. But since then, nothing. James Gunn did talk about this in 23 or so.
Yeah.
That if the script ever hit his desk and if it was good, he of course would be willing to make this an Elseworlds. He mentioned it as an Elseworlds when discussing Matt Reeves' The Batman universe as well. Like these would be their two like pillar Elseworlds stories if you ever got the script where they wanted it to be. But according to the Wall Street Journal, David Zaslav dismissed the project as, quote, too woke. Whatever that means. Old white guy doesn't like the idea of Superman being black and setting it during the civil rights movement. Who knew? Nate, any thoughts on this?
You were telling me just before that you kind of agreed with David Zaslav.
Sir.
I had that.
Sir, I'm the editor of this podcast. I can easily cut all of this out. Do not test me. No, but yeah. You know what, Zaslav? Thank you for making Superman great again. Is that the soundbite you wanted, Nate? Is this the TikTok we're going to post later on?
We get more traffic that way. All the guys watching Fox News being like, yeah, Superman is woke.
Dean Cain was right, baby.
I mean, the thought of this movie, like, I read like a couple of the rumors for it, and it actually sounded kind of interesting because it was going to be a period piece during like the civil rights movement, and it was going to focus on like early Superman comics. Like, apparently one of the rumors was we weren't even going to see him fly. It would just be leaping over tall buildings in a single bound. Like that kind of Superman.
OG,
and that actually sounds cool to me. So I'm a little bummed that that's not the case. I think it's a factor of that movie came together really fast. It was announced 2021. And then there was even like a week after Hollywood Reporter, I was rereading it just the other day. yesterday, I think, of them like talking to different directors to do it. Like they talked to Ryan Coogler, and he was like, "I'm making Wakanda Forever," so no. Then
Good
they
call.
talked to Shaka King, who did Judas and the Black Messiah. They talked to Regina King, two kings.
Hell yeah.
But I guess nothing really became of it, so I won't be shocked if this never happens. But the rumored like kind of plot of it sounded really actually kind of interesting. It would have been distinguished enough away from this, and not just because Superman would have been a different race. Like they would have portrayed him differently too. That's fascinating to me. But Zaslav, I mean, that's not shocking. We know one of his first initiatives was making CNN less woke, I guess. Which
Yep.
I mean, they were already a centrist Democrat channel.
It's so strange to me because he lets James Gunn make this movie.
Yeah,
And Superman might be the most woke comic book movie we've ever gotten.
yeah,
Like, the political commentary is not subtle.
no,
So, like, to say that this movie would have been too woke is just so strange to me. Like, of course, we haven't seen the script, but like you said, everything we've heard about it sounded interesting. It's doing an Elseworld thing. Like, does he not? Of course he doesn't. He doesn't know comics, but it's like there's always Elseworld stories that take place in different time periods. Like, what if Superman crashed in Russia instead of Kansas? And it's like, if we can tell that story, why can't we tell the story of a Superman that is black? But
mm,
Zaslav, you're not in charge anymore of DC, and James Gunn is clearly open to making woke movies.
yeah.
So we'll be okay. But this story was just really strange to come
I
out the week
mean,
of Superman.
according to like that logic too, like the Suicide Squad's also kind of woke because the main villain of that movie is not really Starro. It's U.S.
No.
imperialism.
Yeah. And the main leads of both Suicide Squad movies were black men. So it's like, okay.
Yep.
But, it's whatever.
He made, and I don't even think this is political, but I guess in our state, and I won't get too political, but
Get political, Nate. I dare you.
he made the villain of Peacemaker, and I don't know why some losers view this as political, but he made the Klan the main villain of Peacemaker.
Hell yeah.
And Peacemaker, played by John Cena, very, very manly man, bisexual.
Yep.
But Gunn has a way of writing, those kinds of themes into something. And yeah, they're not exactly subtle, but he writes them so well that it feels so natural.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I think the Superman movie, I feel like that Fox News or whatever, the super woke on Fox News,
Hashtag super shit.
like it just kind of died out. Had no
Yeah.
effect on the opening weekend. It did not last. I think it was mainly just people like me being like, this is so fucking annoying that they're saying this.
Yeah, it's just, again, it's strange to me that people don't understand what these characters stand for.
Yeah.
Like, for people to not understand, we didn't even acknowledge the Fox News bit, but we can, since we're here, talk about Superman being woke. How do you not realize that this is an immigrant story? Like, his parents send him to the US to find refuge, and if you think they packed papers with him? Like, what do you guys think is going on there?
They absolutely did. They had to.
The Kents definitely didn't like forge any documentation, when they when they took him in. And it's like, that's what these superheroes are. And somebody said on social media earlier, and I thought it was interesting, that Superman, Fox views him as a cop, but in reality he's a firefighter. And I'm like, that is so true. And I'm glad James Gunn and Peter Safran are the ones in charge of DC.
Yeah.
And Zaslav's just giving them the money they need to make art. Because, again, Superman was incredibly, incredibly woke. And Zaslav doesn't care because it made him money. So that tells you the type of person he is. I'm sure we're going to be talking more DC as the weeks go on, as we get more announcements, as Comic-Con is around the corner as well.
Yeah.
So let's jump into this next one, Nate.
Hey, Mike, what is the movement of your thinking right now? What is your thinking speed? Are you thinking fast?
Thinking kind of fast and a little furious. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. So, Hot Wheels, which they have been trying to make a movie about this for decades.
For some reason.
Just like they had with Barbie. Now, J.J. Abrams, here he is once again. It was announced a while back he was going to be producing it through his production company, Bad Robot. And now we have a director. It's not who we thought. Our director defies gravity.
Got him.
Yep. And he is Jon M. He obviously did Wicked. He's about Wicked also part 2 coming out, or Wicked for Good, coming out later this year. He did Crazy Rich Asians, In the Heights. This isn't even his first toy movie based on a toy. He did G.I. Joe Retaliation, which you can skip that one, personally.
We don't talk about G.I. Joe.
He became, to me, a really strong director with Crazy Rich Asians. And that's where I think his real filmography starts.
Yeah.
It's a little bizarre that they're doing a Hot Wheels movie, but it was also bizarre that Greta Gerwig did a Barbie movie. And look how that turned out.
Do we have a pitch for this one? Like, is this going to be like a Fast and Furious type of racing, like an F1 or something? Or
no.
Oh,
what I would assume, because the writers behind this are Jewel Taylor and Tony Rettenmaier. They wrote Creed 2, but they also wrote They Cloned Tyrone, the John Boyega movie from Jamie Foxx movie from Netflix, which goes very wacky with it. Has, a nostalgic kind of blaxploitation vibe throughout it. Mm-hmm. What I'm gonna assume, especially if you're getting a guy like Jon M. is you're gonna go with like the wackiness of it. Like I feel like this will be like F1 or Fast and Furious by the way of Speed Racer.
Gotcha.
Like, they're gonna go that route. I just have a feeling. Initially, it was going to be Justin Lin from Fast and Furious who's going to be directing it. Mick G, who did the Charlie's Angels movies, he was going to be doing it for a little bit. Again, they've been trying to do this for years. They're also doing a Matchbox movie that's already been filmed with John Cena.
Okay.
I don't know who asked for a Matchbox movie before Hot Wheels. That movie doesn't really look like it's going that wacky with it. And I think if you get a guy like Chew, you're going to have to get a little wacky with it. I don't know how this is going to turn out. I mean, Gerwig, when she was roped into Barbie, she already had her first 2 movies were both nominated for Best Picture. Lady Bird and Little Women. She was coming off a great last 3 films with Crazy Rich Asians, Wicked, and In the Heights. But outside of that, he's never really particularly impressed me with a lot of his movies. Like I said, Retaliation, the Justin Bieber documentaries, Gem and the Holograms, Step Up 3D.
Listen, man, these last 3 movies make up for all of that. And if Wicked for Good sticks the landing, I'm down for Jon M. Chu to take on whatever he wants. Yeah. It's just, again, the concept, because like instantly I was talking to you. It's like, it can be Speed Racer. It can be Fast and Furious. It could be F1. It could be freaking Cars for all we know. As far as tone. No. That's why when you say Hot Wheels, it's like, I don't know what we're getting. But to your point, I didn't know what I was getting into with Barbie either. So yeah. I'm interested to see what Chu does. I will say, we're talking about his filmography. There's some rough stuff in there. And the last few things that he's done, he is adapting, whether it be from a book or a play or a book that became a play. Yeah. And so it's like Hot Wheels. I don't know where we're going to go with this. I'm a little concerned, but you know what? Why not? Barbie
screenwriters are good. Jewel Taylor, like, again, I love they cloned Tyrone. That was a far better movie than most Netflix original movies.
Yeah.
Very fun, very, very, very creative. And if it's those guys writing it, I trust that they can steer. God damn it, I made a pun. They can steer Chew into the right direction because, yeah, while I was kind of clowning on him for some of his earlier movies, you're right. His last 3 movies completely made up for it because he kept on for a little bit. He's attached to like a lot of different movies at the moment right now. I know he was announced to do like a film of Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat. So, and I think there's like another musical he was attached to like direct as well. And I'm like, if he wants to branch out of, he doesn't want to do a musical as his next movie. I mean, what better way than Hot Wheels? Unless it's about talking cars that sing.
Oh God,
I'd love that.
no. You know who that movie would be for, Nate?
Me?
Family.
Yeah.
I had to get a car pun in there. Speaking of famous directors in their next movie, we've got to talk about Denis Villeneuve's Dune. Dune 3, which was known as Dune Messiah, which is based on the second book because the first book was split into 2 parts. Don't think that this is based on the third book, which is The Children of Dune. It's a mess. I think that's why we're just going to call this movie Dune Part 3. There was some controversy about this because, again, Dune Part 1 and Part 2 were based on the first book, Dune. I was always of the mindset of you need to name this movie Dune Messiah after the second book because the second book really doesn't have a ton to do with the first book.
No.
Like there's a massive time jump, no spoilers, but like it's not going to pick up exactly where we left Paul Atreides, you know? So like in our Discord, I equated this to saying The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship Part 2, which is like, why would we do that, you know? But how do you feel about Dune 3 getting a title change?
I mean, I was kind of hoping it wouldn't even be called Dune Messiah. I was hoping it would be called Done 3. You replace the E in the title with the 3. That magical. You're not doing that. Missed opportunity.
Right?
But
they need to hire you, man. That was genius. I'm ashamed I didn't think of that.
I know. I know. They should. They really should. But I mean, I don't care. It's just a title. Yeah, it would have made more sense. Dune Messiah just sounds more badass to me. Oh, hell yeah.
Look at it. It's genius. It's perfect. I had to put it down there just to show our work.
It's so good. You know what? Doesn't matter what it's called. We know it's still probably going to be a great movie. It's going to be a lot weirder.
Oh, yeah.
If you know about what happens in the book for Dune Messiah, as you were inferring, not only is it very different, it's just kind of batshit insane. Pardon my French.
It's so insane. And like, I have a small theory here, and I think that they're just not going to do Dune Messiah straight up.
No.
And I think that's why there's a title change. Because they might take elements from Children of Dune and Dune Messiah, and like, of course, Denis just going to add like whatever else he thinks works to like make this cohesive and coherent. So there is a chance, and this is why like I'm not completely dismissing it, even though Dune Messiah is a much better name than Dune Part 3. But I do think there's a chance this is going to be a somewhat either amalgamation or an original story altogether.
So, because the character that Robert Pattinson is rumored to be playing is a character by the name Skytail, who I looked him up. He doesn't really look very human.
Yeah.
Unless Denis like wants to do like an American Werewolf in London, but with just Timmy transforming into a sandworm.
I never talk about what happens in these Dune sequels simply because if you say that, people are gonna be like, "What the heck is this series? Why would I ever watch it?" And it's like I want you to experience. I think we got everybody hooked now. They watched Dune 1 and 2, but it's like if I tell you Robert Pattinson, they're like these mutant hybrid characters, you're gonna be like, what the hell? What do you mean he's a sandworm?
I mean, personally, if I didn't even see the first two, I'd be like, I gotta watch the first two right now. Like, I would be like, rushing to HBO Max. I'll be like, this sounds sick. I love my boys being weirdos on screen. But, I mean, I think it's also like, it could be an Oscar thing. This movie's scheduled to come out on December 2026, actually the same day as Avengers Doomsday. We'll see who. They can't both stay there. That's not a good idea.
I don't know. Is this a case of counter programming? Do you think they're catering to the exact same audience?
Kind of. Yeah. Nerddom. Like, and they also have Shrek 5 to deal with.
That's the one I would be afraid of.
Like, I don't know what one is going to move. I would assume it's going to be Avengers is probably going to move even further away.
Avengers might just wrap around to the next May slot, probably, because
I would assume so. That would probably be.
They don't have a script finished yet, right? We were just talking about. Yeah. So, yeah, they're gonna have some reshoots and some stuff they're gonna need to do. So.
I mean, this movie, Avengers is further into filming, but this movie has a completed script, so
yeah,
easier shoot. I don't think as many like the 100 actors that they're getting in this. I don't think Timothée Chalamet, I know he asked Robert Downey Jr. for advice before, but I don't think Timmy is going to be like sitting in his trailer away from everybody else and then like take like 30 minutes to like walk the set or something.
Right.
I think this is the movie that's going to come out. And I mean, this would be like the proper counter programming, I think, to Shrek 5 more than Avengers. Because this could be like a Barbenheimer thing over that Christmas holiday.
Yeah. That's what I was saying. Like, I know that they're both action sci-fi like movies, but I feel like they're catering to a different type of sci-fi fan. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of overlap. There is a lot of overlap. I'm not saying that there isn't, but like, I feel like the Shrek one is the one that I'd be concerned about, because that's going to be every millennial, early Gen Z is going to be like, I need to go see Shrek. And and thus everybody goes see Shrek.
Yeah. No matter the quality of that movie, it's going to make bank. I just think Avengers got to move.
We've got to go to the Shrek premiere, by the way.
We have to.
We have to go to the Shrek 5.
Please invite us, DreamWorks. If we're like at like 1 million, if we're at like 100K subscribers by 2026, and you're seeing this, watching an old video, please invite us. Please, I want to.
Please. I'll paint myself green. Don't worry.
Hell yeah.
No, but Avengers, I just think moves for time purposes. I think it'll work itself out. But even if they did release on the same day, Avengers would obviously curb stomp Dune because it's Avengers, but
regardless, it's going to be Sandworm season. I cannot wait for Sandworm season.
Oh, man. Did you watch Dune Prophecy, the HBO series?
I watched the first 2 episodes and I got really bored by it.
That was everybody's reaction. I hate that. I really want to know what's going to happen with this world once we get to Dune 3, because anybody who's read Dune, they will kind of tell you like, hey, you can kind of stop after Dune Messiah or Children of Dune. And I think Denny, it feels like he wants to stop. Like, he always said that this is the end of his trilogy. That doesn't mean it's the end of Legendary wanting to milk this franchise.
We know what's happening next for Denny after this movie.
Valid.
So he's going to be gone from it anyway, because, I mean, hopefully it's not Tom Holland as Bond, but I'm like, Amazon's going to want to keep Denny around for Bond. They're not just going to want to do one movie with him. You can't just have him.
Oh, man, I didn't even think about that. Do I want Denny stuck in Bond purgatory for the next decade?
You know what?
I like Bond, and I'm excited for his one movie, but like, I didn't think about him doing like 3 or 4 of these for the next 10 years.
You know what? I think he's a better director than James Gunn. I think James Gunn would probably agree with that. But both he and James Gunn have one thing that they share in common is they are two of the best, and Ryan Coogler as well, Greta as well, and Reeves. They're some of the best IP filmmakers as well. Like, we can complain about, oh my gosh, there's so much IP movies. But when you have the right director to do it, it could still turn out to be a banger. And in our world, where, an original big budget movie, usually no studio will make it, and they have to send it to like Netflix, and people complain. They're like, this could have made money. No, it wouldn't have. Then people would have saw the creator from Gareth Edwards and not just wait to see Jurassic World Rebirth on opening weekend and then ditch it the following weekend.
That's valid.
But that's just kind of my take. I'm like, you know what? I think whatever the future is for Denny, he's going to be fine. I kind of view him similar to how I view Chris Nolan. So I would assume he's going to go back to something original. I remember the rumor of him doing Sicario 3, returning to the franchise with Christopher McQuarrie, co-writing with Taylor Sheridan and Emily Blunt back. And I'm like, I want that. Then it turned out to be fake, or it was a dream or something. I was so sad.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I went Sicario 3.
I'm with you there. And it'll be interesting to see what happens with Denny. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Dune. That's the last story we have on the docket, Nate, but I did want to introduce something to you that I just saw while scrolling on social media.
Oh, no.
This is breaking like 4 minutes ago. This is a quote from Tom Holland on discussing film about Spider-Man Brand New Day. Tom Holland says that it's going to focus on filming on real locations and old school filmmaking styles, and how he's excited about that. He said, quote, "We were really restricted with what we can do in the last movie because of COVID, that being No Way Home. Now we're really going to lean into that old school filmmaking and shoot in real locations. We're going to use the streets and massive set pieces that we're putting together." And I just think it's so funny that Marvel somehow realized, oh, we need to start making movies the old-fashioned way so they can feel real again. One of the things about Superman that I loved is that they built all of those sets for the most part.
Yep.
And you have the weird fisheye flying sequences once and again. That's a stylistic choice, but like the CG never felt weird. The environments never felt awkward or fake. Like, it felt like we were in Metropolis. And so I'm really excited for Spider-Man. I assume we're still in New York. I don't want another vacation like Far From Home. But I would like Spider-Man to take us back to actual New York City. Something that we haven't had since The Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Oh, God. Yeah, this is very exciting to me as well. Especially since I was going to bring this up earlier and I forgot to write it in our Discord. But I'm like, you know what? I keep talking about pitting Superman and Fantastic Four against each other. Next July is going to be even better because we're pitting 2 Tom Holland movies against each other, opening just a couple weeks apart.
Yeah,
Odyssey and Brand New Day. And I'm like, you know what? Both are going to be bangers. I had another thought earlier today that I was going to share, and I forgot to. I think Brand New Day is going to make more than Doomsday.
Yeah, I mean, Doomsday is going to be so strange because we've been talking about ever since Endgame. We've had these phase 4, 5, and 6 characters show up, and whether people have gravitated to them or not, they're the leads of Doomsday. So can a movie starring Sam Wilson's Captain America or Yelena's Black Widow, right? Can a movie make $1 billion? I know you have Robert Downey as the big bad, and you're gonna have the Fantastic Four in there, but it's like we just saw Thunderbolts bomb, and we just saw Captain America underperform. And if Spider-Man's not in this movie, what reason will people care about this one outside of it just being Avengers on the title? Like, I'm really interested to see how that shakes out.
There are, I think, now in our era of superhero movies, like being so unpredictable instead of surefire hits, Spider-Man and Batman are the only 2 names where it's like, them alone, that's an automatic win.
Yeah.
For your, like, a box office. Like, they are 2 characters who are completely critic-proof. Superman, I think, was really what really helped it in the end was those great reviews. And people kept hearing it was great. I was at a party last night and I had a Superman Hawaiian shirt, and like people kept asking, they're like, "Did you see the new movie? I heard it was great. I really want to see it." And I like word of mouth is spreading about that. But if it wasn't good, that wouldn't have been the topic of conversation. They would have been like, "How bad is it?"
Right.
Things like that. A new Spider-Man movie, people automatically want to see it. No Way Home made so much money. That is really the movie that like it opened to over 200 million. Still, when theaters were like having us social distance in our seats,
Yeah.
like, and we still had to wear masks in the theater. It still made over $200 million opening weekend. People love Spider-Man, and I'm so glad they're shooting in real locations again. I'm really, I am curious. I mean, I love Spider-Man. It's the guy who did Destin Daniel Cretton, who did Shang-Chi, which is one of the better post-Endgame movies. Wasn't amazing, but it was decent. But I mean, people love Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man. Who doesn't love Spider-Man?
J. Jonah Jameson.
Come at me. Yeah.
It was right there. No, but like I hope this also means we get a practical suit. One thing that I hate about the Holland trilogy is that his suit is CG for like 80% of all of these movies. And it's like, what was so hard about just making the suit? I get if you need to do the mask because you need the eyes to move and stuff, but like get the kid in a costume. I want Spider-Man to feel real, and these last few Marvel movies have leaned so heavily on green screen and blue screen. It's been really frustrating. So this is good news to me. Again, Superman was filmed on location. The Batman filmed on location. Those movies look phenomenal. I'm glad Marvel is like, hey, after Thunderbolts, let's start doing this again, because Thunderbolts is probably the best looking Marvel movie technically that we've had in a long time.
F4, Fantastic Four, also filmed on location too.
Yep.
They built up and made that set look like the 60s.
The thing is practical.
It looks sick.
Yeah.
Like,
it looks phenomenal.
So, I mean, I'm glad they're focusing on practical again. I know they did Deadpool and Wolverine was mostly practical as well. The movie didn't look as great, but that's because like most of it was set in a desert with not a lot in it and like junk falling everywhere. And then they're in a small like street corner at the ending. Versus Spider-Man, it'll just be nice to see him swinging through like a real environment again. And I just really want to see that homemade suit again from the end of No Way Home, because I'm still obsessed with that thing. It's still, I rewatch that ending scene probably every like couple months just to feel something again.
It looks so good, dude. The suit looks so good.
And I mean, even though this is probably one of the worst live action Spider-Man movies, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 suit is probably still my favorite live action Spider-Man suit.
It's honestly, it's up there. It might be the best. It definitely, like, I love the black that they have in the Far From Home suit. I'm a sucker for when you swap out the blue for black and you have the black and red on Spidey. But as far as like pure iconic comic book Spider-Man, I don't think you get any better than Amazing Spider-Man 2. So I'm right there with you, dude.
Movie itself was horrible, but I mean, suit was badass. Love that thing.
Not too much. Don't share Spider-Man hate, because Elektra's gonna come and get you.
Oh no.
Now that wraps up our show. This was a fun one. A ton of fun conversations. I am excited to see where Marvel goes, where DC goes, what's up with Dune, and what the heck is gonna happen with Hot Wheels.
Hopefully it's not too woke.
I hope they made cars electric, Nate. It's gonna be over. It's gonna be over. They made the cars woke. Oh gosh. Nate, where can the fine folks find you?
You can find me across most social media platforms, including X, including Blue Sky, at Nate Knows Movies, or you can find me at Instagram at NateRichard98, or Letterboxd. You can just look up my name, Nate Richard. I'm a patron there, so you can find me pretty easily.
You can find me at Novice Cinephile everywhere on Threads. It's the Novice Cinephile, as is Instagram. But you can find me Novice Cinephile on TikTok, on YouTube, on Letterboxd, all the places except for X, just about. And here on the Chatter After, we're talking movies all the time. Again, we have a Superman spoiler discussion with Superman on Film coming out on a Tuesday. It's going to be streaming on Superman on Film on Monday night at like 9 p.m. Eastern. So you can check out the live stream, join us for the conversation there. And we'll be back next week talking more movies, probably talking more Superman box office stuff, and Comic-Con is very soon. So we're going to have a lot of nerd crap to talk about.
Hopefully Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four. That'd be great. Fingers crossed. But until next time, guys, keep watching movies.
Flame on!
It's clobbering time. Bye.